Please let me know once you're able to see my screen.
Yes, we can see.
Yeah, thank you. Just a moment. I'll bring up the PPT for today. But if you don't like to see the PPT, tell me. I mean, some people will get bored with PPTs, but I want to pass the information. Whatever really important, I'll mention in the PPT. Otherwise, even I don't like to run the show with PPT, which is I want to show whatever possible in the portal or demo, right? That is useful for us. Theory, anyway, anytime we can read it, but the practical is really important. Even my intention towards the same, but if you people feel even this is if you want me to skip or etc., I can do it directly. I can jump to the um, demo, but at least yeah.
Shankar, it will be really good if you can share the PPT with all of us because we can create a
Yeah,
note.
yesterday someone asked. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, please
I
share.
do share it today. Nothing to worry. I do
Okay,
share it
please
today.
share all the previous classes also.
Classes you're getting every day. Are you not
No,
getting
no, previous classes PPT, I mean to say.
PPT? Okay,
Yeah.
sure. I'll zip and
Thank
send
you.
it.
Yeah, thanks.
Today you'll get it. Nothing to worry. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So Azure Virtual Machine. Next topic is Azure Virtual Machine. Yesterday we have covered Azure networking, how networking will be, what is the network, how we can give the IP ranges, sorry, for the each and every VNet, and how we can slice as a subnet, how many we can create, right? It's up to you. It's based on the IP availability. You can create a number of subnets in a VNet, and you can add multiple address spaces in a VNet. So etc. And public IP related, RFC 1918 related, everything we have covered yesterday. Next thing is virtual machine, VM virtual machine, Azure virtual machine. This is something like our laptop. In simple manner, it's our laptop. In our laptop, what we have, right? We have some CPU, memory, disk, motherboard, networking, etc., etc. I mean, Wi-Fi or anything. So it's the same. If you remove the visible objects in your laptop, think about it. If you remove visible objects like keyboard, mouse, monitor, right? Whatever there, right? It's a software thing. So that is what virtual machine, where you can store the data, where you can retrieve the data, where you can install the applications in it. For example, we also try to install many applications in our laptop, maybe Word, Excel, right? So PowerPoint, anything based on our requirements. So you can do same with virtual machine. Before going to the virtual machine, why it is called as a virtual machine? What exactly? I mean, from where it is getting the CPU, memory, etc. I mean, compute. So on the introduction day, right, I told there will be a physical data center. Customer will procure a physical data center. I mean, it's a building. He'll rent or buy it, and in that he'll bring the equipment, networking, router related, switches, storage devices, and racks and blades, rack mount servers, right? Anything. On this blade or rack mount server, this is exactly your laptop, but with very, very highest configuration, right? Memory is in terabytes. Disk is in terabytes, right? So CPU is very high end, motherboard is high end, something like that. Customer will procure the blades and he will install operating system on it. Just because it is our laptop, just like laptop, how many operating systems we can install on it, right? Only one in olden days. Later virtualization came in picture, and on that physical server, we can install virtualization software like VMware, Hyper-V, right? Citrix Zen server, anything. On top of that, we can create operating systems, multiple operating systems on one particular blade. On one particular blade, we can create multiple operating system. For example, this is blade, right? This is blade. On top of this, we can create multiple operating systems irrespective of the operating system. Maybe Windows, Linux, Ubuntu, CentOS, anything. We can create on top of one particular blade server multiple operating system. These are called virtual machines. These are called virtual machines. Even in our situation, we are creating the virtual machines. We are creating virtual machines in Microsoft Azure. Even that has to sit in one particular blade server, physical server. Otherwise, where it will get the compute? It will get from a physical server. Please remember this basic. If something really not clear, you can ask me, but this basic is needed. We need to understand what is virtual machine. Because it is not physical, right? On one physical server, we are installing multiple operating systems. That's why it is virtual machine. That's it. And even yesterday will be looked into, for example, to create a resource, we need a subscription, we need a resource group. Along with that, we need availability zone or availability set. Ignore this point. Anyway, we covered here. Availability set or availability zone and region, a location is required to create a virtual machine and a size required, right? Standard B1MS, something like that, some size. What exactly the size is? A template of compute, this much memory, this much CPU, right? This much IOPS for a disk, etc. And a image required. What is image? Image means it's ISO, right? To install operating system on our laptop, what we do? We put, these days we are putting some USB bootable drives, but earlier we create some ISO disk. ISO will be created as a disk and we insert that optical drive and we install operating system. That is what image. Even that applicable here. And disk is just like our hard disk. For example, in our laptop, we'll have some 1 TB or etc., right? That's what. And virtual network with subnet, that's required. We yesterday completed. Network security group is required. Network security group is an instant firewall that decides what needs to allow, what needs to deny. And public IP addresses, if you want, this is optional generally. If you want, you can have public IP address. Extension. What is an extension? Extension equals to some what to say? It's like a software where we install inside virtual machine that you can manage from outside also. For example, to install a monitoring agent, we need to install monitoring agent and backup agent, something like that. All this called extensions. And auto shutdown. This is a feature which we don't worry now. And in automation account, we literally explain this in detail. But in a normal words, what is auto shutdown in virtual machine is, it's a schedule when to start the virtual machine, when to stop the virtual machine. For now, we don't need to concentrate because we do have a big project on this auto shutdown. And monitoring. So to collect the information, what happening inside the operating system, if you configure the monitoring, that will possible. You can get all the logs or telemetry data, anything, performance details, CPU, memory, disk, disk utilization, everything we can get based on the monitoring. So each and every of this having a separate session, so nothing to worry. First, we'll see Azure VM sizes. We do have general purpose sizes, B, DSV3, DV3, right, etc., and compute optimized and memory optimized, storage optimized, GPU, and high performance compute. In H series, high performance compute series, even a virtual machine will cost like some lakh per month, maybe more than a lakh per month. So before choosing, we need to, for example, if customer asked, you have to give correct size based on the requirement, based on customer utilization, right? We have to understand what is the requirement from customer, and we can give this, such as the size. That's what I'll show you. Not only this, there are a number of sizes. I'll show you while creating the virtual machine what the sizes are available. Availability zones. Generally, see everything, even virtual machine we are creating because of the application. We install application inside virtual machine and we expose that to internet. For example, IRCTC, where we book our railway tickets, right? That is an application which is hosted in a virtual machine. That's what happened in the backend. So we have to plan if due to some reason this virtual machine is gone, right? Anything might happen because this is going and sitting in a physical blade server, that might go on fire, that physical memory might go and motherboard might go, right? There are many chances that virtual machine might not available for us to serve. So we have to plan in a way that how my application is redundant in case of any issues. So then the concept came availability. We plan availability based on the zones also. Maybe on the introduction day, I told we do have regions or locations. In each region, we do have multiple zones. In each zone, we do have multiple data centers. Unfortunately, we are unable to see the data centers. Microsoft is not given that visibility, right? Where your virtual machine is going and sitting in which particular data center. But we can see zone level, in which zone it is created, or we can see in the region, which region your virtual machine is sitting. So why I am saying all this? Because the availability in the sense, if I'm booking some railway ticket and I opened irctc.com and booking some ticket and suddenly it down, maybe many reasons, right? Many reasons for that. So as a customer, it is not possible for me to book a ticket, and not only me, entire world is unable to use that particular service. So this is okay. IRCTC is okay. What if it is a banking application, stock exchange, right? Stock market related, and many more, right? Anything hospital related, aviation related, logistics related. So if that is the case, they have to bear, like, it's a crores and crores of loss, because if I'm booking a ticket on so and so site, if that is not available, I'll go to a different site, right? It's a huge loss to the company. So the customer will have to plan for the availability of his application. In this situation, what will happen is, for example, I have an application, I create 3 virtual machines or 2 virtual machines or 4 virtual machines. On top of each virtual machine, I will install same application. Try to understand. On top of each virtual machine, same application irctc.com will be installed, and on top of this, I'll create a load balancer, Azure load balancer. So load balancer will handle the traffic routing between these 4 virtual machines. If one virtual machine is gone, no problem, your application is available on another 3. So you really not get any issue. Trust me, you really not get any issue. Even 3 virtual machines are down due to many reasons. No problem. Still your application is available on the one particular virtual machine. This is what. availability zones in the sense we create multiple virtual machine and we spread that virtual machine across multiple zones. What I told on the introduction day, we have the regions. Under that region, we have maximum 3 zones. Then customer, what he does is he create 3 virtual machines, he spread across multiple zones, and he'll install same application on 3 different virtual machine. On top of that, he might have a load balancer or traffic manager, and from there, customer is able to access. So customer will not feel anything, the difference, if some virtual machines are down. Simple. So this is what the concept of availability zone. Spreading your virtual machines across multiple zones. Why? Because each zone is made up of one or more data centers equipped with independent power, cooling, networking, etc., etc. These are the differentiation features. So this is also important question for interview if someone need to concentrate. This is what availability zone architecture. That's what I explained so far. In Azure region, we do have availability zone 1, 2, 3. Some regions will have only one zone, but most of the regions will have 3 different zones. Next one is availability set. Availability zone is concentrated towards zone failures, and availability set is concentrated inside a data center. Inside the data center, there will be fault domain, update domain. I'll explain you what is fault domain, update domain. Fault domain means something hardware related issues. Update domain means Microsoft Azure performs backend updates, right? I'll tell you what updates. Even in our mobile, we'll get every 3 months once, 4 months once, some updates. We have to download that package and we have to click upgrade. Then only it will upgrade, and it will take some 10 minutes or 5 minutes to update entire BIOS or operating system, anything, and it will boot up. This is what the upgrade process exactly. Even for our laptop, we'll get Windows updates. What that update contains? What is update exactly? Right? Update is contains security enhancement and new feature introduction. Simple. Try to understand what an update contains. Security enhancement, if there is any loopholes in the security, that will fill it. And feature enhancement. For example, after we update in our mobile, we'll get different new options, right? That's what feature enhancement. These two things will be there in an update. Even for Microsoft Azure, whatever the data centers they are maintaining, they have to perform the backend hardware, right? Hardware requires some BIOS upgrade. Software components require some OS upgrade or feature upgrade, security upgrade, anything. These things also need to perform by Microsoft Azure. They can't avoid it. If they avoid, this is a risk to the customer itself. How the security will be enforced, latest security will be enforced. This is a risk to the customers. That's why they created some update domains, like maximum 20 will be there. So they will do upgrade by one. We can create maximum 20, they'll perform one by one. I'll show you while creating the availability set. So fault domain is concentrated towards the hardware failure within the data center, update domain within the data center, upgrade on the hardware or software components. Simple. So, and one more thing, to avoid this, how you plan your application is, for example, I create VM1, VM2, VM3 with the same application. If fault domain 1 fails, no issue. Your application is available on VM2 and 3. If update domain 1 fails, same applies. Your application is available on VM2 or 3. Fault domain 2 also gone. Update domain 2 also gone, right? So your application is available on the VM3. This is what we have to plan. This is what the architecture. We have to make sure our systems are robust even towards the unfortunate, unexpected issues. Simple. This is also an interview question for sure. Availability set. So you have to explain what is update domain, what is small domain, etc. And next thing is disk. It requires a disk. Disk in the sense hard disk. Whatever in our laptop, we will have some hard disk, right? Maybe SSD or standard disk drive. Anything. Solid state or standard. Anything. So it's like even we have those two types in Azure managed disk as well. So it is used to store the data. This will store the data persistently, and you can remove the disk anytime. You can add the disk. You can manage like anything apart from OS disk. Only OS disk. If you want to modify or manage something, you have to shut down the operating system. Apart from that, data disk you can play like anything, right? Until unless there is no application configured to store the information on that particular disk. Images, as I told, this is like ISOs that we use earlier. What you want to go like Red Hat or Ubuntu, Windows Server, anything you can go for. We do have images, marketplace images. We can use custom images. It's up to us. Marketplace images and custom images. And benefits of using virtual machines, it's a cost saving, agility and speed, lower downtime, and scalability. All these features will come with the virtual machines. Anyhow, I'm going to share this to you. That's why I don't want to read it again. So we go to the demo. To go to the virtual machine, right? Even for the virtual machine, we need a subscription, we need resource group to place with. So while creating the virtual machine also, we can do that. Virtual machine type, virtual machine. From here, things will be interesting. Please pay your attention. So on the create button, create virtual machine, right? Click on create virtual machine. A fresh blade will appear and you can select whatever the subscription you want. Because I do have two different subscriptions, I can select any. And resource group, if you have any resource group, you can select that, or I simply create new one. And virtual machine name, for example, VM01, it's up to you. And the location, and here, this is what availability options that I told specially. We do have two different availability options, right? First one is no infrastructure redundancy required. If you are creating standalone virtual machine, try to understand. If you are creating standalone virtual machine, you go for the no infrastructure redundancy required. And in availability, there are two things. Availability zones, I told, where you can create the virtual machine and select your availability zone. There will be in a location, I selected West Europe. In a location, maximum there will be 3 availability zones, right? You can select anything. And for example, I'll create another virtual machine VM02. I select that as 2. For example, I'll create another virtual machine VM3 and I place that in availability zone 3. Availability zones will have some 50 miles distance, right? That's what the far between zones, one zone to another. So even some unexpected calamities, for example, earthquake or floods, right? In that particular situation also, you can avoid your virtual machine that goes down. So this is what availability zone. We simply do nothing. We select availability zone and we label that particular virtual machine with availability zone number. That's it. What we can do, with number only. We don't have any other visibility. That's it. Another thing, we can go for the availability set. This will have some availability set required. We don't have any availability set to select, no available items. Then what we do? Create new. We will create new availability set. AVS01, for example, availability set 01. Here, you can go maximum 3 fault domains and maximum 20 update domains, right? So for that, for example, I'm creating only 2. I select fault domain 2 and I select update domain 2. That's it. So based on how many virtual machines we have, for example, we have 6 virtual machine. Then what we do? We select this is max and this will go to 6, right? That's what. For example, we create some 9 virtual machine. This goes maximum 3, that has to be, and it will go to 9, right? So what I told, Microsoft Azure promised us they will touch only one update domain once. If that is completely done, then only they go for the next update domain. So for that, we make use of the maximum update domains. And one more thing, if we are creating some 2, then there is no use. How many you create? What is the use? You have only 2 virtual machines. Then you have to select 2. There is no other way, right? So that's what. This is what availability set configuration and images. These are the popular images, recently used or popular images. These are. So Windows, even Windows 10 you can install on 2012, 16. These are the servers, Windows servers. This is desktop version, which we install in our laptop, right?
Shankar,
these,
if we create more than 20 virtual machines, the upgrade domain will be 20 only, right?
Yeah,
whatever the number.
Yeah, 100%. That's what we make use maximum. We give maximum number because we are not paying for that, right? It's a setting. We are not paying anything for that. We go maximum, simple. And if you want to see more images, see all images. Click on see all images. These are the images from marketplace, right? You can literally click see more and it will load whatever you want, right? And you can select the categories on the container level, for example, Docker, etc. Database related images, which comes with the default database installed on it. For example, Postgres DB, right? Anything related to the for example, networking and storage related. For example, web applications, inbuilt web application, right? WordPress, etc., etc. Inbuilt web application will come in with that particular images. Images are nothing but which generally we create an operating system based on that particular images. So generally, we can select from this. Generally, we use this, whatever the popular, we use that marketplace images or right. So in real production, what happens is my images, right? You will have your own images or shared images. Only these 2 you will use because your organization will prepare some custom images. That custom images will be located in my images or shared images, shared image galleries. From there, you will select your image and build it. For now, we go, what needs to be used? Your customer will tell you, customer will tell you or your colleagues will tell you very clearly. For now, what I do, 2016, let it be, take anything, but I'm taking server version. And this is important. One more thing is size. Size is really important. It will also show per month how much the cost. right? For example, if you choose standard DS1B2, right, which gives one CPU and 3.5 GB of memory, cost is like 6,994 approximately per month. If you go B2MS, two CPUs will come and 8 GB memory. This is what the cost. And two CPU, 4 GB. So based on the factors, there will be many factors, right? So standard disk is coming or premium SSD. It's based on cost will be decided on each and every factor. This particular thing is included. I mean, this is only intended for the compute. I mean, CPU, memory, etc., etc. So if you want to see all sizes, click on that. This is what the place. You can expand whatever you want, right? For example, H series, etc., etc. See, this costs more than a lakh per month. High compute. You can sort even based on the RAM, based on the CPU, data disk, and this is the count. How many disks you can attach to a virtual machine? You can't attach more than that for sure. If somewhere it is 2 means you can attach 2 data disks maximum. That's it. You can't attach more than that. So for now, what we take B1S or B2S is okay. Even B2MS is fine. Yeah, B2MS. Select that and give the username. You have to give a username, right? For example, test user and the password. You have to create some password for operating system to log in. We do have many practices really around the virtual machine. For now, this is okay. We create plain for today. Okay. And inbound port rules, right? Inbound port rules. If you make none, there won't be any NSG rules. There won't be any NSG rules created to allow the traffic. For example, we are creating VM01 and we want to access that from my personal laptop, right? Whatever the laptop that giving the demo, from that laptop, I want to access. For that, I am mentioning allow the ports 3389 is a RDP port. I want to RDP, remote desktop protocol, right? That protocol allows me to, just like you're able to see my system, right? Same way, I can log into the remote system which is created in my Azure cloud. I can take RDP. I will show you how that RDP looks like. And yeah, if you have any licensing, you can include this, right? For example, some companies might have Windows licenses that they may purchased previously, right? If that is the case, they have to tick this. Otherwise, this is included. Even license is included in the billing. Next one is disk. Two categories: OS disk, data disk. And in OS disk, we do have like premium SSD, standard SSD, solid state disk, HDD, hard disk drive, right? So in terms of performance, SSD will give better performance, very, very good performance. And cost is also somewhat high, right? So we can take any of this premium SSD, standard or standard HDD, anything, and encryption we are not going to touch now because we do a separate demo on it.
What is the difference between premium and standard disk?
Yeah, see, it's for the, it's like it will get high IO, input output throughput, right? So that will get, okay, in simple words, that will get better performance. When you compare standard with premium, standard will have slightly compromised performance because that is come from the shared pool, whereas premium SSD this is a dedicated pool only for you, right? Whatever the disk that you are getting, this is dedicated for you from the dedicated pool. Reservations will be there. Whatever the assigned storage and IOPS, that only reserved for you. That's not from the pool. So finally, it's like better performance if you compare with standard. Simple.
Okay. Thank you.
So, and this is OS disk and this is data disk. If you want to assign any disk, you can create and attach new disk. If you have some existing disk, you can click on this and you can select, because if we don't have any, it won't show. So create and attach. VM01 data disk 0. Okay, let that name as it is. Empty disk and size. By default, it is 1 TB. Why 1 TB? Let it be 8 GB. Right? And encryption, there is a dedicated demo for us for the encryption, disk encryption. Because that is security reason, we will cover that in a separate demo. Okay. So this will create disk, and in network, by default, it will create new. If virtual machine creation is unable to find any existing VNet, it will create brand new VNet, subnet, public IP, etc., etc. And NSE. So you can ignore creation of NSE. You can create a basic or advanced, right? So it's up to you. You can take anything. But this is about NSE. NSE is an instant firewall where we write what should come in, what should go out. And public inbound ports, that's what I told. We select 3389 because we are creating the NSE. At the NSE layer, this will be defined the same remote desktop protocol. So yeah, we don't want any load balancer because we do have a separate one, demo on the load balancer, traffic manager. Yeah, that's it. Boot diagnostic. Under monitoring, there will be boot diagnostics. Boot diagnostic in the sense, while the operating system boots, there will be some critical logs that we need to store about, right? If you want to store that in a dedicated storage, it will create new storage account and a boot diagnostics will be configured for that particular storage account. And the logs will be stored on the storage account. Simple. So if you want to enable guest operating system diagnostics, also you can enable. Everything will be stored on this particular storage account. If you don't want any, disable it. Simple logic. If you don't want any, disable it. But for now, let it be. Let us configure the boot diagnostics. We have to, I mean, even while we are automating at the PowerShell, while we are automating at the Terraform, right? We have to concentrate this as well, boot diagnostics. Yeah, identity will be covered in the RBSC, auto shutdown. As I told, yeah, auto shutdown. This we have a dedicated session, but I just want to show you what this particular feature is about. See, shutdown time every day, 7 p.m. on this particular time zone. For example, we are in India, right? UTC 5. Yeah, this one 5.30. Yeah. So in Indian time, every day 7 p.m. Okay. For example, developers will leave by 6 p.m. Okay, 1 hour grace period and 7 p.m. every day. I want to shut down this particular virtual machine. This is just about shut down the virtual machine every day when it has to be shut down. Auto shutdown, not the startup. Where the automation that we do is automatic shutdown and automatic startup, which we will do as a project. For now, it is not required. And backup, everything is really, you can leave it simply because we are going to cover it. Nothing, no extensions really needed. And tags also I told next session. That's it. create. This will create a virtual machine in our environment. Along with that, resource group will be created. We selected resource group to be created. Availability set will be created, and virtual machine with one operating system disk and one data disk and a network adapter, public IP, right? So a NSG and VNet, a subnet in it, everything will be created. See all this NSG, availability set, public IP, and this is VNet, diagnostic settings for the storage account, right? Storage account will be created, data disk, operating system disk, etc., etc. Let that create.
So the logs will be stored on the data disk or OS disk? Diagnostics.
Diagnostic settings, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we created dedicated storage account for that.
Yeah, that is account, but the disk where it resides, that logs, I mean that location of the logs.
I don't get it. I don't get it. See, we are sending the logs to the storage account. Point number one. From where it comes is your question.
Yes, yes, yeah.
While boot diagnostics, while VM boot, there is a boot process, right? Even in your
Yeah.
laptop, if you shut down and start it, there will be a boot process starts. So it will check all the hardware. For example, Dell logo will come. After that, some basic validation will happen towards your memory, CPU, and motherboard. Everything is a log. You don't know that. That's happening at the back end. Those will be stored as a boot diagnostics.
Okay.
Because that is needed to troubleshoot. If something happened to the virtual machine, we should be in a position to read that logs and okay, this because of this particular so and so, this virtual machine is doing this way, right? We will correct that.
Okay. So these logs will reside at some place, right? So
storage account. Yeah,
That's
dedicated storage account we created. This is what.
Okay. Okay. Got it. And I have two more doubts about that availability set and availability zone.
Zone.
So
Yeah.
we can use either one, right? Or
anyone.
two also.
That's it. Anyone.
Okay. So,
Either zone or set. That's it.
so we cannot choose both, right?
No, it is not possible. We can't do that. It's not possible.
Okay. So availability set means we can have a redundancy in the same
Within the same data center.
same data center.
In terms of data, in terms of hardware failures, in terms of the backend updates.
Okay. Suppose if that application goes down in the data center and that data center gone, then we cannot that VM will not get rendered, right?
No, that's why we are planning on the multiple virtual machine. We select same availability set for the another virtual machine. So it will be redundant, right? At the data center layer. What if entire data center is gone? Is your question? Then you have to
Yes.
go for this zone.
Yeah. Okay. Got.
How customer want to make the availability is a question. Based on their requirement, we will create it.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, I think virtual machine is created. Either we can click here or we can go to the resource group. We can see all those components, right? These are the components. There will be availability set, virtual machine, public IP, NSG, and network adapter, and OS disk, data disk, VNet, storage account for the boot diagnostics. This is what the components is literally around the virtual machine, right? So it's a big concept around the virtual machine. So today we just try to log in. I'll show you how that virtual machine really looks like, and I try to log in. Because we enabled the public IP, I'm just copied it, and go to the start button, type remote desktop, RDP, right? Remote desktop connection, select that. and give the IP. Show options, give the username, whatever the username. Give the username and connect. That's it. And give the password that you chose. That's it. Yes. See, I'm logging in directly to the virtual machine. From my system, I jumped into another system, which is located in Microsoft Azure. Let that load completely. Okay, close this. This is really not, we're not worrying about that. And in File Explorer, we can see how many disks, right? We should have a OS disk and we should have a data disk. Let's see how many are there. We do have a C drive, operating system drive, and we do have a temporary storage, right? How much GB we took? 8 GB only. It is literally 16 GB, right? I think we took some 8 GB. Why it is 16 GB and why it is named as a temporary storage? Because this is created by Microsoft Azure. This is not our data disk, and this is a temporary storage. We should not store anything in it. See, there is a warning as well. This is temporary disk. Please do not store any data and you will not recover it, right? There is no way to recover it. If this particular disk is deleted, there is no way that you can recover your data. This is temporary disk. We should not use this. Microsoft Azure will reserve this disk and we are not paying for this. Simple logic. We are not paying for this. And what about our data disk? Where it is? If you go to computer management, disk manage, under that storage, under storage there is disk management. Select that. Let me maximize. Yeah, let this okay. So maximize. Okay. So this is temporary disk which is assigned by Microsoft Azure 16 GB. We should not use that. And C drive we already created, it is available to use 128 GB. And disk 2 is unknown, is unallocated. Initially we have to convert that as a disk because this is raw disk, right? We have to initialize it and we have to convert that as a simple volume. What this called is volume, and we have to convert this as a volume. Before we convert that as a volume, because this is red symbol is there, right click on that, initialize the disk. You have to initialize the disk, right? We are doing at the disk 2. Yes, it is correct. Check mark is there, and MBR partition, click OK. Now that red mark is gone and it is online now. Next thing is select here, right click and new simple volume. Select new simple volume. Whatever the available GB in MBs it is showing. If you want to create based on right? Some MB, you can do that, but it's just 80 GB, right? Entire thing we will convert as a simple volume, and you can label it F drive, G drive, H drive. It's up to you. Let it be F, and you can name it according to your requirement. For example, right? Perform a quick format. Next, finish. That's it. Now you can see it. See, this is what data disk 00 F drive, which is 8 GB, and open it. If you initialize any disk, the first and foremost thing that you have to do is create a folder. That is what the basic sanity check that we perform. Create a folder and leave it. Okay, it is able to create properly. Then there is no issue with that particular disk. Read and writes are happening on that particular disk. So what you have to check, read and write, right? So by creating a new folder, that is enough. So that's what the check. So this is how we can create the virtual machine, attach a disk, etc., convert as a simple volume, and that's it. So from tomorrow, we can further proceed. Maybe 2 other days, we will be around virtual machines only. Maybe disk encryption, maybe migration, maybe conversions, etc. We will do around the virtual machine other 2 days. So this is what myself today. So any other doubt?
No, sir, no.
Okay. Please do the practice, because all of you having your own free account, please do the practice, because that is important. So once your demo is completed, straight away go to the resource group and copy this name and delete the resource group, right? Because if you delete virtual machine will never ever delete other components, even including the disk. It will leave as it is. Only this virtual machine component will go. That's why just delete the resource group. This will delete all the resources which is resides inside the resource group. So that's it. So if no doubts, we can wind up today and we can meet tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Then thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Sir,
Yeah.
actually, I have tried with the different cards for the account creation. I tried with Axis Bank, HDFC Bank, none of these work.
You mean debit card?
Yeah.
No, man, try to get credit card, man, because credit card will work for sure, right? I mean,
No.
if there is no real chance, try to get your family members, right? If there is nothing to in you, I mean, you can try from your family members. For example, even that is not possible. You can contact your friends in this batch. If there are anyone who created their account, you can share. They can create a username and password for you. I'm not sure whether you have friends on this particular group or not, right? Yeah, student you can create, but okay, let's I'll do some research for you for the student related, and tomorrow I'll let you know. But there should be some student email ID required. How we get that is a problem, right? Student does not requires any credit card. Okay, we'll speak it tomorrow. Then, if possible, get some credit card or supported debit card. If not, we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.